Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy and I help people with their breakups. And today I came across this article that I think actually is pretty useful. It's a woman's website, or women usually go to this website, and it's an article written for women. And most of my clients are men, but it's good to see the other side's perspective, right? So I want to go through this article from a man's perspective and kind of comb through it and unpack it a little bit. So the title is Bad Romance, 7 Types of Relationships That Never Work. And I came across this and I Googled relationships that never work. And this is the first one that came up. So it must be a very popular article, or it's been online for a long time, one of the two. So it starts out, is he worth it? From relationships that are so incredibly boring that they make us want to poke our eyes out, to ones that feel like a never-ending roller coaster ride. If you dated more than one person, it's likely that the experience has been a little bit different each time. Of course. Have you ever noticed, like, to talk about that for a second, have you ever noticed that you date the same type of people all the time? Or do you, like in my experience, sometimes I'll go from, being with a girlfriend for a while that is, I don't know, conservative, uh, kind, sweet, has a lot of good qualities, and then the next girlfriend I have after that relationship's over, or I start dating, is just like a complete opposite. Have you ever been in that? That's like a good topic to talk about in another video. But I I know people that date the same type of people all the time, but I always think that you're always comparing, which isn't fair, but you're doing it. It's just a human nature that whoever you're with, you're comparing their traits usually with, you know, girlfriends you had in the past, and sometimes you go for an opposite. So getting back to this, heck, some of us have probably been in relationships that have gone from snooze fest to drama overload and back again. Although each relationship is different, here are a few common types that we've all probably experienced at least once in our dating careers. Number one, the long distance romance. Maybe you went to school a few years apart, or you met while traveling, fell in love, and have been trying to make it work ever since. Now that you're back on opposite corner of the globes. Either way, most of us have been in long distance relationships at some point. Yeah, I've been in a few long distance relationships, and they work till they don't work. And what I mean, what it comes down to is there is a shelf life on them. That could be 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, but at some point, someone has to move to the other person's town and start living together to make it work. And I've had that happen before, where I was doing the long distance thing for, I think, about a year, but we'd see each other once a month. That's the other thing. How frequently are you seeing each other? How frequent are you able to talk on the phone? And actually, if it works right, if you see each other once a month and you're there talking on the phone, it's really nice when you see each other that one time a month. It's really special. And then when you actually live together, if you built that up, your first year being together is really nice because you've been building that up. You didn't just go on dating for 3 months and move in together. It's too quick. So sometimes it can work out. Long distance isn't all bad. The romance, the build up to seeing each other, the steamy Skype sex. I've never done that. That can actually be really awesome. Could be. After all, absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? However, it can also be heartbreaking, and unless one of you is willing to make the leap to close a long distance, it likely will end. What you're doing in long distance is you're always leaving kind of a door open for the other person to meet someone, and whoever meets someone first wins. And the other person loses, thinking, oh, I would have never done that. But, you're not together 24 hours. And if you don't live together and you don't have to answer to each other at the end of the day, it's much easier to run into someone that you like and go out with them. It's just a lot easier to mess around and meet someone else by chance, even if you're not looking. Number two, the guy that your friends and family hate. Perhaps this guy is your small town's local weed dealer, or maybe he's just a rude to everyone in your life, or both. True story. However, you slice it, everyone in your life seems to hate this guy, and for good reason. He's a kind of bad news. However, being around him is exciting, and you love the thing that he does with his tongue. This relationship will eventually go up in flames, but in the meantime, the sex is off the charge. We all need to date one of these bad guys, if only to teach us that the kind of relationship isn't what we really want. So yeah, women like bad guys. They like a guy with an edge. You talk to most women, a lot of them prefer it. It's exciting. It's a roller coaster ride over the boring guy. And a woman ends up marrying a guy that she thinks can provide and be safe and secure. And some women are out there, if they were listening, oh, no, I take care of myself. Okay, but a lot of women are attracted to that over a long-term relationship. But on the flip side, if you watch like the movie Gladiator or something like that, the badass dudes in the movie and stuff, those are the ones that women are usually most attracted to. So it goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. And the thing is, if you're one of those bad dudes and you know it, you mess around quite a bit. So you're not in a lot of long relationships. He's a great guy, but everyone loves this dude, but kissing him feels like you're making out your cousins. The sex is bad, and it feels like you're sleeping next to your brother. So why the fuck are you with him? This always gets me. This is why I like reading this from a woman's perspective, because I've been with girlfriends before, and they have girls' lunches or something at the house. And, I'm not eavesdropping, but, you come in the kitchen, you get a glass of water, and you hear them talking. Or sometimes I'm at dinner with, a group of the girlfriend, the friends. And one of them like, oh, John or Adam or whatever the guy fucking name is, right? Oh, yeah, he's so nice. He bought me roses. I don't even like roses. I didn't even want roses. And then they just go fucking on and on and on about how they don't really like the guy and he's weak-minded and he's so soft. But they go out with the guy for a year, 8 months, 16. And I always think like, what if, like, to me, sorry to say it, but you're being a bitch, right? And some people are going to be upset about that. But, I mean, if you don't like the guy and he's really nice, let him go. Let him find, a woman that appreciates that. Let him find some woman that's a kindergarten teacher that wants a soft-spoken, kind-hearted guy. Let him go. Don't just hold him on the chain, and then when you're out with friends, talk shit about him. Because I always think in my head, like, I hope my woman's not talking about me like that to her friends. I hope not. I'm not really paying attention, and they'll just go on and on, but they're still with the guy. What is that? You're a user? We've all dated someone like this, a person who is, by all accounts, an extremely lovely human. I like how that's put. But with whom there is no sexual chemistry, yet you keep dating him because you feel incredibly comfortable around each other. He's like your best friend, which is why breaking up with him makes you feel all kinds of feelings. So again, woman's perspective, it makes her feel bad. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to go and badmouth, if any woman out there is listening to this, if you start hanging out with your girlfriends and their groups and your mom and whoever, and you're badmouthing the guy constantly, let him go. If you care about him raw, let him go. Let him feel the pain and hurt, whatever. And you know what? Don't be his friend afterwards. Don't play that game either. Just let the guy go. And lovely humans can meet other lovely humans, right? The friend with benefits, number 4. You enjoy this person's company, but the relationship is all about the physical. When the clock at the bar strikes 1 a.m. and one of you wants some company, you call each other. All is fine and dandy with this arrangement until one person develops feelings. So true. And things start to get weird, thus shattering this perfect partnership. Well, it was never a perfect partnership. It was always part-time is what I would say. That's my added piece. So, yeah, someone's going to start copping feelings and getting excited about things if you're sleeping together. It always happens. Usually the woman does, but the man can too. And that's just part of the game, the friends with benefits. When it's working well, it's really nice. But it can turn into a girlfriend-boyfriend thing. Absolutely, it can. It absolutely can. I think. I've had it happen before. Absolutely. I think most men, not speaking for everyone, like the idea of keeping it that way when they're younger. But when you get in your 30s and your 40s, if it starts that way, it probably will end up as a relationship. The only times it usually doesn't is if someone just came out of a relationship. Okay, so if you're thinking, oh, they're single, so they're ready to go. No, they just came out of a 5-year, a 4-year, a 3-year, an 8-year. They want friends with benefits. They don't want to get into another relationship. So keep that in mind. That's if you have someone that's a friend with benefits and they haven't been in a relationship for a while and they're kind of giving up, then there's a possibility both of you are on the same page. But if they just came out of one, no, it's probably not going to happen. The rebound, number 5, you end up dating this person immediately after your breakup because they are the complete opposite of your ex. I talked about this. However, you probably initially chose to date your ex for very valid reasons. For example, the fact that you shared common interests and values. Although the old saying opposites attract can sometimes turn into a happy ending, this is not one of these stories. You quickly get swept off your feet only to come crashing down a few weeks or months later when you realize that this relationship will never work. So if you know that it's never going to work long term, then that's a good feeling to know when to end. Rebound relationships happen on both ends. And the quicker you realize it's not going to last, the quicker you should let that dude go. Number 6, it's complicated, like really, really complicated, mostly because as a couple, you have the worst timing ever. You both have feelings for each other, but there's always something getting in the way. One of you is moving, already in a relationship with something else, not ready to commit, or about to be deported. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Relationships like this are what inspired its complicated status on Facebook. Well, the funny thing about this idea of it's complicated is usually one person thinks it's complicated and the other person thinks it's really easy. They don't mind. I don't think both sides usually are like, oh yeah, it's really complicated, because some person's not getting what they really want. And actually, in a lot of ways, that makes you more attracted, especially as a woman, because you're unsure of the other guy's feelings, and that keeps you on the hook. It makes you wonder, like, you get a little taste of going out and having a good time, then you get it taken away, and then you're not sure of his feelings and whatnot. And I think women are attracted to that. But the guy in his head is like, it's not complicated. He's probably playing a game. So I think that's usually a one-sided thing when it's complicated. And it really keeps things going for a while. And then when it's just no longer fun, it's over. So it's complicated, can't work though. Number 7, almost the one. This is a relationship that makes you think that you finally found the one, only to have the tables turned on you at the last minute when you realize things aren't going to work out. After all, it's heartbreaking. It's painful. We've all been there. I don't know if I've ever met someone, date them, and be like, that's the one. That's the one for me. Maybe I'm not as decisive a person in that way. I guess I'm considered, serial monogamy, multiple girlfriends over my life, and never been married. And I think this idea of finding the one, it's a fairy tale, really. It's a fairy tale because you never know. People change their values, shit happens, things happen. The one is going to change over time. So, and you can't predict a lot of those changes because they're going to come out of nowhere. So whenever you think you finally found the one, beware is what I would say to women out there reading this. That idea, I think, is far-fetched, to be quite honest. I think that when you're titling, you're putting in a high expectation on that individual for being the one. If you just roll with it, enjoy the moment, start to feel like this could be a long-term thing, but to give it that title, the one, that's too deep, that's too big, I think, and I don't think it works. So let me tell you this, after reading all that stuff, all that crap, visit me at writemac.com, WRITEMAC.com, and tell me your breakup story if you wish, and I can give you a little help on that. Or you're having trouble in your relationship, you're about to break up, and write out your story. I'll read it for free. I'll give you a response. I'll make a YouTube video out of it. And if you're wondering how I handle those letters and stories, go to my YouTube channel and maybe judge for yourself how I give advice. And if you resonates with you, if you think we got a little bit of a rapport, we're on the same page, then send me your story and I'm sure I can help you out. Okay? See you on the other side. Bye.